today we're going to learn how to do vacuum filtration or suction filtration. You'll be doing this twice in the lab. The first time will be in the reactions lab when you'll be filtering your alum crystals, and then the second time will be in the silver solder lab when you'll be filtering silver chloride. So both times you're going to be using a sidearm flask and an aspirator, all right? So the sidearm flask, the first thing that you're going to want to do is to stabilize the sidearm flask, because it's kind of tippy and it has a tendency to kind of fall over all the time. So you can do that one of two ways. You can either use a ring, all right, if the ring is a good size to hold it, or you can use a clamp. But either way, you need to make sure that you stabilize it so that the flask itself isn't going to go anywhere. So I'm using a ring, but you can just as easily use a clamp to do this, all right? So you get it nice and stable. I don't want this to tip over. So this is a ring stand. These are going to be in the cupboards to the side of your station at your lab station. You'll get that out. And then you want to move it over close to the sink so that the hose fits into the sink. Then you're going to need an aspirator. So the aspirator looks like this. This adapter may be in here or it may be in the hose, all right? So for this one, it's in the hose, so I'm going to take it out of here. All right. Now I'm going to screw this into the sink, and there's going to be, make sure, so one of these has like a nipple coming off of it, and the other one is open. So you're going to put it on a sink, and you're going to screw it in, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, just like you do anything. You want to make sure that you get it nice and snug in there, but you don't want to cross, you don't want to strip the threads that are on there. I'm going to put it on the other side since we're basically over here. All right, and then this adapter piece is going to fit inside there. All right. Now when you turn this on, what's going to happen is the water basically draws a vacuum. So like if I put my hand on here, I have a little vacuum going in here, and that's what's I'm going to use the filter. It's going to draw the liquid through by vacuum. There's two devices that we'll be using, all right? So the first one is called a Buchner funnel. So the Buchner funnel is what you're going to do, what you're going to use when you filter your alum crystals. And there's a piece of filter paper that will fit right inside of this Buchner funnel. Now when you go to do this, you're going to want to make sure that you weigh the filter paper before you put it in there. You want to make sure you have a nice seal. As a matter of fact, it's usually a good idea to squirt it with a little bit of distilled water to get it to kind of press down against the holes. And then it's going to sit in here. Still have a suction. You can still feel it on your hand. All right. And then you're going to take your crystals, which you'll have made earlier in the period, and you're going to kind of swirl it around a little bit and nudge the crystals out of the Erlenmeyer flask into here. What I would suggest you do is pour the liquid through first, try and get as much of the liquid through as possible, and then you'll have a little spatula that you can use to kind of nudge everything out and get it onto the Buchner funnel, all right? You can rinse the flask one time with an alcohol water mixture that you cooled down. The directions for that are in the lab report. And then you're just going to let it sit here and suction for 10 or 15 minutes. When you're all done, you're going to turn it off, and you're going to take the Buchner funnel out, and you're going to put it on your watch glass. So you have a piece of curved glass in your lab drawer, which you're going to put over the top, and you can just flip it over, and all of the crystals should come out. And you should weigh that watch glass first. For the silver, you're going to be generating silver chloride, and we're going to be using a Gooch crucible instead. So the Gooch crucible has little tiny holes in the bottom of it. It's a ceramic crucible, and there's a little tiny piece of filter paper that fits in it. You're never going to separate these, so what you're going to do is when you get the crucible, it will have been previously dried, and there'll be a piece of filter paper in it. Make sure the filter paper is in there, and you're going to weigh that whole thing. And then you're going to do your filtration pretty much the same way, except you're going to have a different adapter. So this adapter will sit in the sidearm flask, and then your crucible will sit right in the top of that adapter. And again, you have your water going, and you'll be able to feel a suction on that crucible. So you want to make sure that's seated in there. And again, you want to try and get all of your crystals. They're going to be in a beaker this time. You don't want to whip it up, all right? Don't like stir it up into a frenzy. Just kind of slosh it around the bottom and then try and pour the liquid through and nudge the crystals out. You want to get everything inside of here. For this one, you're going to actually dry it in the oven. So once it's sat on the filtration apparatus for 15 minutes or so, you're going to take it, you're going to put it in a beaker that you're going to label with your initials on it, and your instructor will tell you when you can put it in the oven to go.